I do have to follow up on something Jared just said in terms of his value, because Jared does this a lot, but he claps back at fans on Twitter when people question him.
I've kind of stopped him lately.
No, Jared, there was a good 3 or 4 years where I saw a tweet every week.
I was.
But can you explain, like, to the average fan who doesn't see you on the court in the rotation for the last couple of years, you have incredible value. What is that value? I know what it is, but can you just explain that?
First thing first, you can only play, let's realistically, 8 to 10 guys on a consistent basis. So 11 through 15 are not going to play. You're going to be a practice guy. And what are your values? So either 11 through 15, you're either a young guy, either a first-round pick that can't play on a good team, or you're trying to find yourself in this league, Cameron Payne, who you're the third or fourth option. You're not going to hear me complain to the coach about that. He has to already worry about 9 or 10 personalities. So now you have a guy like LeBron, right? Certain people are intimidated by him. When it comes to either coaching staff, when it comes to ownership, when it comes to players, of what to say, what not to say. When it goes to the film, when we watch film and the coaches are talking about film, there at least 2 to 3 times every film session, I will call somebody out of what they're doing wrong. If it's AD, if it's Braun, if it's KCP, because I want everyone to know that our goal is a championship. So there can't be one player that we pick on or not. That's not how it's going to be on this type of team. So for me, it's AD. You can't be lazy right here. You have to be able to get the ball side to side, or you have to run the lane to open up a 3-point shot. And if you do that in September and October, once the playoffs hit, they already know, hey, Jared, what do you see out there? I'm like, hey, you're guarding Draymond. You can't play with the ball with Draymond. Go right away, because he's got good hands, and he's going to – and so it's letting him understand, or don't even try to post him up. Set the screen. They're going to switch. And so when it comes to that, and then it's now, as you would know, the camaraderie. And this is why I excel in the camaraderie. I'm going to be on the gambling table. I'm going to gamble with the guys. Every team I've been on, I'm gambling with you. So if I can gamble with you, take your money, you take my money, we laugh it off, we go drink some wine, go have a beer. Now, during the game, I could curse at you, and you're not going to get mad. You're not going to be sensitive to me. What the hell are you doing? No, man, you know you're not supposed to be doing that. Joe Smoke can't do that. The 12th, 13th man, that is a very small percentage of people that can say that to those guys. The James Jones, who's now a GM, the Juwan Howard, who's now one of the head coach, the David West, it's a small percentage of people. So when you have that, to be able to hang out with you, JJ, our wives, you and me have gone out to eat to dinners before. Like, if I tell you, JJ, come on, bro, you can't do that on the pick and roll. Like, you're not going to take it as offense of someone that. And so my value is basically being another coach, but another coach can't be in that locker room. He can't be on that bus. He'd be in dinners with us, and it's a select few, and that's why it's a very rare thing, and that's why I get paid these minimums over and over and over, and you guys will be mad when it happens again.
But Jared, we talked about this. We talked about this with Channing Frye a couple months ago, but we've talked about it with a bunch of different guys over the last few months, just about the value of glue guys on winning teams like this, and how if you basically look at every championship team over the last 20 years. No matter the circumstances, they all had 2 to 3 people like this who didn't necessarily play all the time, but they were there to bring everybody together. Is that something, before going back to when you were younger, when your career was a different place, did you have guys that were like that, that you learned from, or is this something that was just sort of a natural thing? You were always that personality?
I've always been that personality. It's been natural. But even when I, was playing, let's say guys like Jason Richardson, Grant Hill, teaching me how to be a pro on and off the court, how to take care of your body. They were just, I had Grant Hill and I had Shaq. I get to see how they both act. I know I'm not going to be as good as Shaq. I know I can't say what Shaq says. How do you be Grant Hill? Like, how does he treat the trainers? How does he treat the equipment guy of holding respect? How is he respected? Or guys out that don't say a lot, when they do talk, why do they listen to them? Because they're in the weight room every day. They don't be slacking, And so for me, it was just a natural ability, but I also saw the writing on the wall. Like, how do you prolong your career? How do you bring value when you can't bring value on the court? Why do people want to have you in a locker room? That's why someone like Vince Carter Vince Carter could have not played. The reason why he played 3-4 more extra years is they wanted him in that locker room for Atlanta. It wasn't because, hey, he could help contribute and get him to the playoffs, 20, 30 points. He was still a decent player. It's because Grant Hill wanted him in that locker room in Atlanta to help out Trae Young, to help develop him. And now look at Trae. It just takes a while, and that's the same thing with financially. Like, or JJ knows, I don't care what championship team. When we won the championship, we lost 4 games in a row. You don't think there's players complaining, oh, why didn't coach doing this? But you need a vet like, yo, relax. Steve Nash always told me, never get too high on wins, never get too low on losses. Like, you have to be even keel. This business is so up and down. You got to have guys to keep it level.
Jared touched on something. Did he touch on something really cool, though? I mean, because like you talked about trust and how important that is in a locker room, and what you're building is trust. And I think that's so important in any organization or on any team, that you have this trust that you can, say what needs to be said to whoever. So I just wanted to underscore that because I thought it was such a really good, important point.
Jared, on the flip side of this, because you're in a very unique spot, where you've obviously played with everybody, but you've been teammates with a lot of the best players in the league. With young Giannis and young Devin, because you spent a long time around both of them. What did you see back then? What have they gotten better at? This jump to become, the 2 of the best players in the world doesn't happen overnight. So even thinking back to your time with them, what have you really seen?
Booker always was super talented, footwork-wise, work ethic, had it all in him, had the swagger. Became such a better student of the game, of studying film. If you look at his body now, he finally has cuts in his body, got serious with his nutrition, of getting IVs, taking care of his body off. In a way, I think him having a girlfriend has helped him stay more focused, less out in the nightlife, be able to be focused. And I think with him was his passing ability that was poor. He could shoot the ball. The whole big viral video of doubling him, and during summertime, you remember when Joakim Noah was doubling? Hey, it's the summertime. I'm working up. Nah, like, you're going to be doubled. We doubled you. Like, and for him to become a better passer, getting his first triple double, his maturity is just coming in the league so much, Bill, that I knew he's going to be an all-star player, but I just think that he's took the next step of his body. Like, if you look at him, man, he's a phenomenal.
He's cut this year. He's cut. He's cut. Yeah.
That's the first thing I saw him. I said, look at his face. I could see his cheekbones. I mean, listen, I didn't know if he had surgery. I couldn't mess with the Kardashians. I didn't know if he had surgery or he lost some weight. That's for one, all right? And then I would say Giannis, I had him so young. He was just like, the European players, Americans, like, he just wanted to learn. Like, he didn't care about living in Milwaukee. He was at the gym with his brothers at 11 p.m. at night, throwing a football. He just loved it. And he loved the culture. The thing I would say the difference between them two is Giannis lived in the weight room. Like, if you look at that picture of his body going from one to another, and with that, if you see it, that's what struggled of his jump shot. Because when I played with Giannis was shot like 36 from 3. His free throw percentage was higher, but he wasn't as, he obviously was a young boy. He's now become a young man. That weight room, like, he's a physical specimen when he's out there on the floor. If you see him, how it is, and that's because he was in that weight room every single day. So he became a man. It's like, hey, listen, I'm going to be the new Shaq. I'm going to be the most dominant player. And so he's taken that. I didn't know he'd be this good. I would be lying to you. I knew he'd be an all-star caliber player. Didn't think he'd be an MVP so soon. Didn't think he'd have a chance to win a championship so soon. And it's a testament to his work ethic because I see him with his brothers. I see his mindset. I credit Jason Kidd of pushing the right buttons. He suspended him one time. He benched him another time. He would bench him every time he shoot a 3 because he wanted him to get to the basket and not settle. And we're dealing with 2 beasts and have a champ. I just wish health and a good finals.
You played for J. Kidd in Dallas, or in Milwaukee, sorry, and you played for him in LA when he was the associate head coach with Frank. My Mavs just hired him. Where do you think this is going to be for him? Like, is this a good fit?
Great fit in the sense of this. J. Kidd needed to be an assistant for a couple of years because you know how it is. He literally went from being a player. The next year went in. He was an assistant coach, and that's very rare in this league. And I don't care, if you play basketball and you know the game. It's a different level of the scouting, of the respect of your assistants and the scout team and coming together. And as you know, as Greg, as you see, it's a team. I think him and Luka, their relationship is going to be phenomenal. I think he's going to learn a lot of how to react when stuff is not going well. He thought the world was kind of falling out when Milwaukee, when we go on a 6-7 game losing streak. He's more confident. He's more, I mean, let's be honest with you. The more you work on your craft, the more confident you're going to be. And so I think the biggest thing is Nico from Nike getting there. That's his guy. So when you have your GM, he didn't have to go to ownership. We're all going to be all together. Let's all get in the room together. Let's work on it. What do we need to be successful to put around Luka? One thing I loved about his demeanor, like he's not a yell guy, get in your face. Like it's Jason Kidd. What he says, you're going to respect. But he's a nice demeanor. Like, try this. I think this might be good. JJ, like, listen, hey, we know that no one can guard James Harden. We don't expect, like, he's gonna dummy it down. Like, all right, guys. And that's one thing I was impressed about J. Kidd. We were a top 3 defense in Milwaukee. Like, you think of J. Kidd, an offensive guy, but like he doesn't like Jared. You don't have to guard LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm gonna send a double. We're gonna work on every aspect of our defense. His attention to detail was phenomenal, and that I didn't expect.